Welcome back to Horns High Studios for another episode of 666 Seconds of Murder. That means each one of these videos is less than 666 seconds, or, yeah, you guessed it, 11 minutes and 6 seconds. Let's get to it. Going back to Idaho. All right, now this is a crazy thumbnail, and you're in for a good one here. We're talking about the Christ Church there in Moscow that I feel is a cult, and this crazy guy running the show, and so we're going to talk about it. Now remember, my videos are for informational purposes only. I'm not saying anybody's guilty of anything. These are just opinions and speculation. Everything is alleged. And ironically, though, this is the 66th video in the 666 seconds videos. I'm not kidding. Now, I want to make things very clear about this video. I am not saying that there's anything wrong whatsoever with a person believing or following whatever religion they want to. If it makes you feel better and gets you through life, that's awesome, okay? I do not feel that the Christ Church there in Moscow is a church. I think it's a cult. So definitely spare me the religious outcry about this video, because I'm not doing this for those reasons. I'm not anti-religion, anti-church. And you guys know the 666 usage on this channel has gotten a few people riled up, but for the most part, nobody really cares about it. And I've said it before, it has absolutely nothing to do with religion. It's just a heavy metal thing, and basically giving the middle finger to the idiots during that satanic panic era when we were vilified. So that's the only reason I do it. It's just for fun. So enough of that. Now, big thanks to CJ of CJ's Crime Concepts for doing a video that he did that inspired this one. And we also talked about it in the interview that I recently did with him. I'll link down below to that video so you can watch it yourself. So this cult is an integral part of Moscow, Idaho. Their pastor, Doug Williams, is a total throwback to an era from another friggin' planet, okay? If you listen to this guy's sermons, I mean, it's all sorts of kooky stuff. Talking about men having dominance over women and women should be subservient and all of that kind of crap. He got this streaming show called Man Rampant, and he's anti-homosexual, claims they should be executed, has said in the past that slavery was a good thing. I mean, this guy is a complete and total piece of crap, all right? And that's why I put the devil horns and the red beard on him, because he's just a piece of crap. So Doug Wilson believes that Moscow should be a Christian town, and there's about 900 members in this cult, and they're out there spreading that message for him. He has written dozens of books, a very L. Ron Hubbard here with this guy, and also prints and publishes them with church members. And so this cult is worth many millions. Yes, that's right. Millions of dollars. So how does a church with less than 1,000 people become worth that kind of money? Okay. How many books is this guy actually selling? And how do the members of the church, I mean, how much are they contributing by tithing every week in the collection plate? I mean, could that possibly add up to multiple millions of dollars? I mean, some have suggested that the church is somehow involved with this trafficking that we hear about, human trafficking coming through Moscow. We've heard about the narcotics issues there, awful, rampant in that area. I have no idea if any of that is true or not, but when you're worth that kind of money, it certainly makes people wonder. It seems that there has to be some other revenue stream to be putting that much money in their bank account, but it's all speculation. Now, this cult is very much a part of Moscow. Their members live in the town, so even though the cult operates like a large compound outside of the city limits where they have their own schools, colleges, and various other operations to keep everybody brainwashed. This is very similar to Scientology. There are stories of people escaping from the cult, very similar to what Scientology members go through. I mean, it's scary stuff. So, I mean, I don't know if you call that a church, but I don't. Now, there was a grand master of the church from 91 to 92 by the name of Harry Fry. Yes, there are many Frys there in Moscow, and it's got to be some relation to Chief James Fry of the Moscow PD. Possibly a father, maybe an uncle. I'm not sure. I tried to figure it out, and I couldn't find it easily. In addition, there is a Mark Rosendahl that's a chaplain there at the cult, and his son is none other than Officer Nate Rosendahl of the Moscow PD, the one that took Kaylee's picture of her ID in that one video. I'm sure there are many other ties to the police department, the city, the university. There's got to be all sorts of infiltration here with these guys, all right? So what does that mean? I mean, it just goes to show how strangely interconnected this town and their citizens are. I mean, I live in a small town now, and there's some of that kind of stuff, I mean, in most small towns, but this is on a completely different level than anything I've ever seen in my life. I've compared it as a cross between the Children of the Corn, the Twilight Zone, and maybe a little bit of the Sopranos. I mean, Moscow and Pullman are in a weird bubble that are hours away from any other city. There's a bunch of little towns, but no other cities or larger towns. So they're very separated from everything. Very, very strange. And we know it's a university town, so they're in constant conflict with this cult here. So what does that all mean? Well, we know that power, money, and influence will get you quite a bit in this strange town of Moscow. I mean, that is why I think that they pin this thing on an outsider to make him, you know, take the blame for something that maybe the locals were involved with. They're not going to say somebody from Moscow did this. The fact that you got serious ties to various members of law enforcement means you would most likely get a blind eye for anything illegal that might be going on there. And at worst, law enforcement could possibly be helping those activities. Again, this is just speculation. Now, Moscow is a town that is right along a path, a corridor, for a tremendous amount of narcotics and human trafficking. It's been noted that there is a kind of a corridor between Colorado and Moscow, Idaho. And kind of ironic that the two former owners of 1122 King Road now reside in Colorado. But could the Christ Church be involved in these illicit activities? I mean, it's certainly possible. And it could help explain how this small church in this small town could be worth so many millions of dollars. I mean, part of it is that, you know, churches don't pay taxes, just like Scientology. An organization like this uses that tax exemption to further their profits. It's just wrong. I mean, to me, I think small businesses should be getting the tax break, not churches. I don't think it's right, especially not the multi-million-dollar churches. Now, the church conducted rallies against wearing masks during COVID, and there was that infamous Stickergate incident involving two Moscow police officers that were implicated in some wrongdoings surrounding the arrest of David Wilson's son. And Wilson sued the town and won a very large settlement, but they were worth millions already by then. Now, I know this sounds crazy to some of you, but I have some concerns that this cult could have possibly been involved in this. I mean, think about it. If these radical followers believed that they needed to cleanse Moscow and make it a Christian town, why wouldn't they do these crimes? I mean, many serial killers like Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer, or Arthur Shawcross, They did their crimes against prostitutes for the same reasons. I mean, they looked at them as filthy and they were doing good for the world. In some cases, these guys say they did it for God, which in their sick mind justifies it. I've covered cults for a while on Murder Metal Mayhem. We did an episode on the Church of the Lamb of God and their insane leader that was called the Mormon Manson because he sent hit squads to eliminate people that he felt were sinners or did the church wrong. I mean, is David Wilson capable of something like that? I have absolutely no idea. I think the guy's definitely kooky, and I don't know what he could be capable of. All I'm saying is it happens, okay? And when you've got ties to the police department all the way to the top, I mean, the cult could have known about 1122 King Road and the rumors about things going on there. They would have known it was a party house. They would have thought that was immoral, I'm sure. They definitely wouldn't have liked the girls in that house. And what if the rumors about human trafficking in Moscow were true and that house was part of it? I mean, in my opinion, when it comes to crazy cults like this could have been the perfect target for a brainwashed mind or minds. Remember when Moscow PD said the house was the target? Well, could it be that there was like weird messages left behind? Things that would implicate a church or cult that they were involved? I mean, who knows? Everything's been so hush-hush here. Did that 911 caller maybe make reference to things that were maybe painted on the wall or something crazy like that? I mean, we haven't heard it, so we don't know, but maybe that's why. Maybe this is the reason or part of the reason why this is a gag order and all hush-hush. I'm not sure. I'd love to see what you guys think about it, so let me know what you think. I'm definitely going to do a true crime deep cuts on this subject, so I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I want to thank the Horns High Club. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate that support, and I appreciate everybody that watches these videos. We'll see you next time on 666 Seconds of Murder.